Today we're going to talk about a topic that makes a lot of people uncomfortable, but one that I've had to address countless times in private sessions. When a woman's behavior is not a challenge to fix, but a warning to walk away from. This is not about attacking women, blaming anyone, or promoting hostility. It's about awareness, emotional health, and self-protection. Welcome back to the channel. If you're here, it's likely because you've experienced confusion, emotional exhaustion, or that quiet feeling in your chest. That tells you something isn't right, but you can't quite explain why. As a therapist, I've watched men wrestle with this exact feeling. Many of them came in defending the woman they were with, minimizing their own discomfort, and convincing themselves that patience alone would fix everything. What makes this topic controversial is simple. Society often tells men to endure, tolerate, and be strong no matter how draining a relationship becomes. Walking away is framed as weakness, but from a therapeutic standpoint, staying in a situation that consistently harms your emotional stability is not loyalty, it's self-abandonment. Over the years, I've noticed patterns, not isolated mistakes or bad days, but repeated behaviors that quietly eroded a man's confidence, clarity, and sense of self. These behaviors don't always show up as obvious cruelty. In fact, some of the most damaging ones are subtle, socially accepted, and even excused by people around you. I remember sessions where men would say things like, "Maybe I'm just overthinking," or "She didn't mean it that way." And yet their sleep was suffering. Their focus was gone. Their sense of peace had disappeared. That's usually when we slow down and look at behavior, not intentions, because behavior tells the truth long before words do. This video isn't about turning you against anyone. It's about helping you recognize when something is unhealthy, before it costs you years of your life. Some relationships don't need more communication, effort, or sacrifice. Some require one brave decision to step away. If that makes you uncomfortable, that's okay. Growth often starts there. 1. She consistently dismisses your feelings. One of the earliest warning signs I've seen again and again in my work is when a man slowly learns that his emotions don't have a place in the relationship. At first, it's subtle. He expresses discomfort about something small, and it's brushed off as him being too sensitive. Later, when the issue is bigger, the response doesn't change. Only the damage does. In therapy, I often hear men say, "I stopped bringing things up because it never went anywhere." That sentence matters. When someone consistently dismisses your feelings, what they are really doing is teaching you that emotional honesty is unsafe over time. You don't just stop talking to her, you stop checking in with yourself. Dismissal doesn't always look like shouting or cruelty. Sometimes it sounds calm. Even reasonable phrases like "You're overreacting," "That's not what happened," or "Why do you always make things so serious?" slowly chip away at your internal compass. You begin to doubt your perceptions. You start asking for permission to feel the way you feel. From a therapeutic perspective, this is where emotional erosion begins. I've worked with men who were articulate, confident, and emotionally aware when they first entered a relationship. Months later, they struggled to explain why they felt uneasy. Not because they lacked insight, but because every attempt to express discomfort had been met with dismissal. When feelings are consistently invalidated, the nervous system stays on alert. You're calm on the surface, but internally you're tense, guarded, and disconnected. What's important to understand is that emotional dismissal is not the same as disagreement. Healthy partners can disagree while still acknowledging how something made you feel. Dismissal skips that step entirely. It sends a message that only one emotional reality matters. Over time, that imbalance creates quiet resentment and deep confusion. In sessions, I never ask, "Did she mean to hurt you?" I ask, "What happened to you as a result?" Because impact matters more than intention. If every vulnerable moment turns into an argument, a joke, or silence, your emotional system adapts by shutting down. That's not strength, that's self-protection. Walking away from someone who dismisses your feelings is not an act of punishment, it's an act of preservation. When a relationship requires you to minimize yourself to keep the peace, the cost is always internal. And the longer it goes on, the harder it becomes to remember that your emotions were never the problem. 2. You feel drained after every interaction. One of the clearest signs I listen for in therapy is not anger, not sadness, but exhaustion. A man will sit across from me and say, I can't explain it, I just feel tired all the time. Not physically tired, emotionally depleted. That kind of fatigue doesn't come from a long,